Welcome back to Common Progressions. This is System 1, Week 12, and we're going to be in the major scale. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did for all of the others, the arpeggios and the pentatonics. So if you want a more in-depth lesson, you can start off on the arpeggios. But we're going to start here in the D form of the G scale. Okay, now what we're going to do for this one is I'm basically going to stay in that form when I'm here for everything except for the D chord. So again, we have the chords G, D with an F sharp, E minor, C, G, D with an F sharp, E flat, F, G. Okay, so I'm going to do, and then for the D chord, only arpeggio notes. Okay, so you're limited to just arpeggio notes for the D chord. We go to the E chord. You can do any scale stuff that you want. You can do arpeggios, scales, pentatonics. And then the C chord, same thing, but stay in this position. So you can stay right in that position, so that basically the D form position. Back to the G chord, stay in that position on these notes. D chord. So always when you hit the D chord, I want you to play the arpeggio. And then when we go to the flat 6, flat 7, and 1, arpeggio, arpeggio, arpeggio. Okay, so let me do a quick, show you what I'm doing, just talk through this. So I'm basically almost all scale except for that D chord. So here's G. Arpeggio. Staying in that same scale. Same scale. D arpeggio. E flat arpeggio. Okay, now when I go into the next form then, I'm going to be here. It's going to be the exact same thing. So I'm going to stay on this form of the major scale for the G chord. For the D chord, only arpeggio notes. And this is going to make your head like really have to get through this stuff. But your ears are going to be trained, your hands are going to be trained, and your head's going to start to come together on seeing all of these shapes. But you can see there's a lot to this. And the whole key of this thing is, this is very exercise-like, you know, and it's going to be hard, and it's not going to sound great. You're not going to be able to phrase great. You're not going to be able to do great things, but you'll be surprised at what comes out of this, like what the next step of this is just sheer musicality. Because what you want to do is you want to hear stuff and not have to think about it. So So you want to be able to hear the stuff in your head. I'm not a good singer, but you heard that I'm hearing the notes that are going on. And the only way to do that is by this sort of practice. It is a slog. It's just the way it goes. Some people pick it up quicker. Some people are slower at it, but it's hard no matter how you cut it. So on this one, again, G chord, D chord, E minor chord, same scale, stay in the same position. I'm just starting on a different note. And then the C chord, same scale, but again, I'm starting on a different note. And incidentally, they would call that a different mode. I don't really think that way on these sort of progressions, but I'm sort of aiming for these C notes. But it's still that D form. And then back to the G chord, D chord, E flat chord, F chord from week 1, or the arpeggios. I mean, all right. Then we're into the A form. So G chord, and again, I'm not playing the note order you should play. I'm just playing the scale for you so you see it. D chord, E minor chord. C chord, same thing. You're in the same scale. But I would sort of end those sort of notes. G chord, D chord, E flat, F, G. Okay, now we're into the next one. So we're into the G form. G chord, D chord. Only arpeggio notes for the D chord. E minor, C, G chord, D chord, arpeggios only, E flat chord, F chord, G chord. All right, and is that the end of it for me? E form then. So now we're here. G chord, D chord, only arpeggio notes. E minor chord, same scale. C chord, same scale. G chord, D chord, only arpeggio notes. E flat, F. If you can get, however you can get that. So let me do just a little bit more on this, just so you get the feel for it. And then I'll do a real quick demo. I know these are long, but I had to get all of the forms in. So I'll start in the C form. D arpeggio, E minor, C chord, D arpeggio. And let me do that one again, and I'll keep it simple. Watch, top 3 strings. Gets me on the track. So you hear, even when I'm doing just top 3 strings only, it can sound great and sounds very melodic. Everybody knows where I'm at in these changes when I'm playing like that, as opposed to just, you're hearing guys that are wandering and you're not sure, like, what are you on top of, you don't really know, but as soon as you start lighting up these arpeggio notes, all of a sudden you start hearing melody pop out. All right, let me do a quick demo on this. I'll probably just do 2 forms, and then you can play over top of it.